Hey everyone, today we will discuss arrays in JavaScript. So, what is an array? It is a variable that holds many values. Normally, a variable holds one value, but what if we need 5 student names or 10 products? You don't want 10 variables. So, array lets you store a whole list under one name. For example, we have this one variable which represents three different values, which are apple, banana, and mango. This is the most common way to make an array with square brackets. And if we try to console log this, we will get our array. We open the brackets and add our values separated by comma. There's also another way using which we can create our array, which is this new array. And if we console log this, we get our array. Now, to get a value out, we use its index. So we get our first element, which is at index 0, and second element, which is at index 1, and third element, which is in index 2. Here is the important part. Array starts counting from 0, not 1. So the first index is the index 0, the second index is 1, and so on. Since we start at 0, the last index is always length minus 1. Now, to change a value, we point to its index and give it new value. In this example, we are changing the value banana, which is at index 1, to orange. Now, if we print our array fruits, we should get orange instead of banana. Next, we have array length. Length tells you how many elements are there in the array. We can print the length of our array using the property length. Notice there is no parenthesis because length is a property, not a function. Our array has 3 items, so it gives us 3. Now let's see how we can add and remove elements from array. So let's start with first function, which is push. Push adds a new item to the end of array. For example, this will push kiwi as the last element of our fruit array. And if we check that, we get kiwi as the last element. The another function is pop, which removes the last element of the array. And we can see that our last element, which was kiwi, has been removed. And next we have unshift. Unshift adds a new item to the start. In this example, we use fruit unshift, so we should get our first element as grapes. And we have another function called shift. So shift function removes the first element. So using this function, we should remove the first element, which is grapes. And we removed our first element. Sometimes we just want to know if a value is in the array and where. We have 3 methods for that. So let's start with the first method, includes. Includes asks a simple yes or no question. Is this value is in array or not? In this example, since apple is included in our array, so it should return true. But if we searched for another value, it should return false. Next we have indexOf. So indexOf is used to get the exact position instead of just true or false. In this example, since the index of mango is 2, then this should return 2. And another function we have is lastIndexOf. If a value appears more than once, indexOf gives us the first one and lastIndexOf gives us the last one. In this example, we will get the answer as 3 because the last index of value 2 is 3. Next we have slice method. Slice method gives us back a new array and the original one stays the same. In this example, since we have the array of 5 values, but now we want to have new array which starts from the index 1 and ends at the index 4 of the nums array. So we will get our output as 2, 3, 4. And the important point to note is that last index is not included. So that's why we only get 2, 3, 4 and 5 is not there. So next method we have is splice. Splice reaches into the original array and changes it. Here we give it start index and a count. Start at index 2 and remove one item. So it removes the 3 and the original array becomes shorter. If we print this, then we will see 3 is removed. Next we have concat. Concat joins two arrays into new array. In this example, since we have two arrays, we can use concat method and we will get the bigger array, which includes the element from A and also the elements from B. And we get our output as 1, 2, 3, 4. Next method is join. Join takes all items and turns them into one string. Whatever we put in the parentheses goes between the each items. Here we use dash, so we get apple dash orange dash mango. Next we have reverse. So reverse flips the array around back to front. In this example we have array of 1, 2, 3. So reverse will flip the array around and we will get 3, 2, 1. Just one thing to keep in mind is that it changes the original array. Next method is sort, which puts the items in order. For strings, we just call sort and it puts them in alphabetic order. And we get our output in the alphabetic order. Now let's try the sort method in our nums array. And here is the problem. This does not sort correctly. 10 comes before 2, but what is the reason behind it? The reason is, by default, sort turns every item into text and sort it like words, not numbers. As text 10 comes before 2, so we get this output. To fix this, we need to pass small function. The a minus b tells sort to compare the numbers properly. Now this sort from the small to large. So remember, strings work with plain sort, but number needs this function. Next we have map. Map changes every items and gives you back a new array, but the original stays the same. In this example, since we used map, for each number we multiply by 2. 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 6, and 1 becomes 2. Think of map as a new array where every item is changed the same way, and we get our result as 2, 4, 6. Next we have filter. Filter keeps only the items you want and drops the rest. In this example, it runs a test on every item and keeps the one that passes. Here the test is it even? Because we are using the modulo operator to check the number is even or not. So we keep only the even numbers and drop the odd numbers. So we get our result as 2 and 4. Next we have find. Find gives you the first match, not all of them. It goes through the array and the moment it finds the item that passes, it stops and returns it. Here the first number over 2 is 3. If nothing matches, it returns undefined. But in this case, the number greater than 2 is 3 and we get the result as 3. Similarly, we have findIndexOf, which is just like find, but it gives you the position of the item. Since we get the value 3 at index 2, so we will get our result as 2. Next we have sum. Sum asks one question. Is there at least one item that passes? Even if one item passes, it returns true. But in case of our example, we have no numbers over 5, so we get false. If it was greater than 2, then we would have gotten true. Opposite to this, we have every. Every asks the opposite. Do all the items pass? It is only true if every single item passes. Here, every number is over 0, so we get true. But if we had greater than 1, then it would have printed false because we have one item which is less than equal to 1. Next we have reduce function. Reduce takes the whole array and turns it into one value like a total. Here we need to understand two things. ACC, which is the accumulator. Think of it as a running total, a bucket we carry along, and the 0 at the end is the starting value in that bucket. Let's walk through it. Start at 0, add 1, now it is 1, add 2, now it is 3, add 3, now 6. No more items, so reduce gives us 6 and our output will be 6. Next we have flat. Sometimes you have arrays inside arrays and you want to flatten them into single level. That is where flat comes in. So this is the one of the example. The number says how many levels deep to flatten. We pass 2, so it digs down to 2 levels and gives us clean 1 to 3. And the last one we have is flatMap. FlatMap does a map and then flattens one level in single step. This example, each string splits on space. flatMap flattens it, so we get one clean list. Hello world JavaScript. So this is it for this video. Thank you for watching.